think about this. Okay, this is amazing scripture, by the way, amazing passage. I want you to, I want you to preach, Pastor Mariano, Pastor Bell. I want you to preach, Pastor Elizabeth. I want you to preach this passage. This is an amazing passage if you think about it. He comes to Ziklag. You know what Ziklag indicates? My town, my city, my comfort zone. That's what it indicates. This is my comfort zone. I am satisfied here. No one annoys me. I am in peace and I don't have to do much. I am prosperous here. I am the leader. I am the leader. I have everything. I have beautiful wives. Now, one, two, okay. Children, they all grow well, healthy, wealthy, and everything I want, whatever I want, Philistines provide. My comfort zone. Only thing deep down in my heart, one thing that convicts me was that oh, this is not where I should be, because God has called me to be a king of Israel. But I have an excuse. You know what my excuse is? It has not happened. Probably God has forgotten it, or easier to say, you know what, Samuel might have made mistaken, because King Saul is still strong. He is still standing. I have no chance against him. If so, Samuel might have mistaken. He's now dead. I cannot ask him anymore. All these excuses, all these things. But my brothers and sisters, God's promise is unchanging promise. His calling is unrepentant calling. He would not retract his calling. His calling is eternal. So we should remember, we should cherish, and we should keep it. But when David, was returning to my own village, you know what happened? I started to see something was different. As I approached to my city, my town, there was a smoke coming out of the city. And I realized when I get to my town, my city, I realized it was burned down into ashes. Where is my comfort zone? It has been burned down, everything into ashes. Nothing remains. Everything, my treasure and everything has been taken away by Amalekites. Not Philistine, not Israelites, Amalekite. Okay? And my beautiful wives and kids were all taken as a hostage. Do you think that's enough? Who do you think that did this? Of course it was Amalekite, but it was God who allowed it to happen. God allowed it to happen. If He loves you, He will burn down your comfort zone. You will not be comfortable if He loves you. If He doesn't love you, it doesn't matter. Whatever you do, you just, this is the only chance for you to live for 100 years, and that's it. You have no chance. But if He loves you, He will burn down your comfort zone into ashes. Nothing remains, okay? And take away everything. Now, do you think that's enough? David might have thought that was enough. That was already too much. I'm poor. I lost everything. No hope. Nothing remains. What is it? What do I have? Now I have no chance to bring back all these things. What should I do? But you know what? That wasn't it. That wasn't enough. What has happened next is something amazing. If you read chapter 30, I believe, first Samuel, you notice that now your soldiers are about to stoning you. They want to throw a stone at you. But think about this. Who are these soldiers? They are my loyal, faithful soldiers. They are my brethren. They are my brothers who have sacrificed their lives for me. When I was thirsty, they sacrificed their lives to bring back a pot of water for me. When I was thirsty, that's what they did. But now they suddenly turn their faces around and try to storm me because their wives and children were also taken away. Now they are in under the persecution. They realize they were lost. Now, is that them who are trying to stone David? Of course they are, but you know what? It is God behind them. What would you do if you were David? If I were David, I would say, how dare you do this? Once my faithful students, once my faithful servant, always my faithful servant and student, and my soldiers. That's what I should say. That's what I would say. But David did not say anything. That's what I must learn, and I'm learning from David. You know, David, he did not think in his mind, and you know what? He was encouraged by God's presence. Isn't it funny? That's what the Bible said. Everything, it looks like it's a disaster. Everything looks like despairing. Everything looks like ashes and burned down and hopeless. But David was encouraged by God's presence. This is amazing. This is the difference. How divine people, how faithful servant is so different from mere, like fake servants. David was encouraged by losing everything. Now God is calling me. And David, you know what he did? He decided to find. Okay, let us pursue. It's been 3 days away, but let us find these Amalekites, bring back our wives and children and all our treasures. Let us go. And he started riding horses or running, whatever that is, with the soldiers. But there was a problem. You know what the problem is? He does not know where to go. In many ways, like you and I. We keep pursuing, we keep pressing on, we keep doing and doing and doing. Sometimes we do not know where we are heading. We just faithfully read the scripture every day, faithfully teach the class every day, faithfully go and share the good news every day, faithfully you do something like our Pastor Mariano. Wherever encounter, he wasn't planning to meet that person in the hospital. That was not in his plan, but God planned it. That moment, right at the time, the perfect timing. Pastor Mariano, you are there. So you do what you are called to do. That's where we are. We just do faithfully what God brings into our life. We do not know where to go. We do not know where it will unfold. The ministry, the great mystery of God's treasure. We do not know where it's gonna begin to initiate in our lives. Pastor Abel spent all these years without much fruit, but you know what? We keep pursuing and pursuing and pursuing, not knowing, like David did not know. 3-day journey, he did not know where to go. But his soldiers were begin to wonder. They were whispering and saying, does he even know where to go? Leader different. Leader would not make an excuse. Leader does not explain, but does things. When you are genuine leader, you do not explain everything to your followers. I don't explain things to my students. I don't explain things to my church members. I don't explain things to not everything to my kids. Sometimes I do when it's necessary, but I'm the leader of my household, of my church, of my seminary, of the things of my ministry. I'm the leader. I don't have to explain, because if I explain, they will be discouraged. I don't have to. They don't have to be discouraged. So David does not explain. But they started to wonder, does he even know where to go? Of course, the answer is he does not know. He doesn't know where to go. He doesn't know where to find Amalekite, but just running and running. But one more challenge, as if it wasn't enough. There were 600 soldiers, but now out of 600, 1/3, 200 soldiers were exhausted, and they said they could not go anymore. What would you do? Think about it. What would you do? It's our life. Okay? I thought about it. I do one of two things. One, I would take all my 400 people. Okay, let us rest here for a while. So we all recuperate and let us charge together. We will not separate, okay? Or what I would do, secondly, what I would do is, okay, no, you are not stopping here. We'll continue to press on. We'll continue to charge. Let us go. Let's go. That's what I would do, right? But David was better than I. What David did was amazing that I could not think about it. You know what David did? David said, okay, you are tired, you leave, you stay here. I will leave you behind. You remain here, but let's go, 400 people. You must follow me. And he kept charging. What kind of leader is that? That is amazing, because he does not ask for to, press on with those people, 200 people exhausted. You live here. But he still continued to charge with the 400 who follows. But amazingly, what he does was he ended up finding where Amalekites is. By God's providence, God intervenes and he finds where they were. And he bring back all those treasure with wives and kids safely, and more treasures where Amalekites had, right? He became even wealthier. He returns, but problem occurs. When he was returning back to that lake, that brook where those 200 people were remaining, 400 soldiers were saying this fairly, fair manner, saying, we should not give them any spoils. We should not give them any treasure at all, because they did not fight with us. We risked our life to fight against the Amalekite, but they didn't. They were here. They were remaining here in the comfort zone, so we should not give them any spoil. Let them take their wives and kids, but we will not give them anything. That's what 400 people say. That is quite fair, isn't it? 400 people risk their lives. That's fair, I think. But David was different. He was different. He had the gift of leadership. He was different. You know how he does? He said, it is the world belongs to God. It is God who fights for us. It is God who makes the victory for us. It is God who wins. Your Jehovah Nish, God who wins every battle. It is not our battle. We were there, but it was God who makes the victory. Jehovah Nish. And then for that reason, whatever we have, we'll share. So he equally shares all the spoil to not only the 400, but also 200 as well. He shares equally. And he comes back. And he becomes the king of Judah in Ziklag. Not in Hebron, but in Ziklag he becomes a king. You know how he does that? He sends out those spoil to the elders of Judah. He sends out the spoils to the elders, and those elders come and bow to King David. Now he truly becomes a king in a foreign land of the Philistines. That's where his kingdom begins, from Ziklag, from a small town. But think about it, my brothers and sisters. We are living in a small town. We are in our ministry. Our ministry is, very small, secluded, non-recognized, unknown, desolate place like Ziklag, whatever you call it. But if we are faithfully seeking God's will, doing God's will, God will make us to be who we are called to be. A king of great nation, a great evangelist, a great pastor, a great professor, great missionary. Whatever the greatness that God has called us, he will achieve it, as long as we keep the heart of David.